Hey everyone, welcome to Darpan InstaClass. The pandemic has certainly changed a lot in our lives, whether it be the health side of things, the education side of things, our communication, our interactions, and joined by Dr. Tyler Black. He is the child and adolescent psychiatrist at the University of British Columbia. Hi Tyler, how are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm well.
Good to hear. Thanks for being on the show. So tell me a little bit about as to what your observation has been with the transition from the natural world to online and then now possibly getting back into the classroom setting again.
As you know, in BC, we've had schools open since September, but across the country, we're seeing changes in schooling, both going from the online to back in person, and then originally in the pandemic to online. And I think it's really hard to say one statement. Everybody wants to know how kids are doing, but I've certainly seen a group of kids who've struggled with the moving to online, and I've seen a group of kids that have thrived. The academics, less academic and in-person pressure is actually a good thing. For kids who maybe thrive a little bit more on the social aspect of life, getting connected to others, being in person to learn, maybe they do better with in-person learning. That group of kids probably did a little bit worse with online learning. We're publishing study coming out of BC showing that actually from the psychiatric point of view, kids were reporting about as much distress as they were in person or virtually schooled. So we think the net effect is kind of in the middle. But of course, in each individual family, we've heard so many stories from my child is really suffering to I've never seen my child do better.
I see. Okay. And then that's spilling over to the university student side of things as well?
I think so. I work with a few university students, and again, the reaction is mixed. One of the young people I work with has never had better grades than when things were virtual, and another one was really feeling quite contained and wished that things were back in person again.
Right.
So again, it's a varied experience.
Impacts on mental health. What sort of a dialogue needs to be created so children are feeling that they're being part of an environment that's enriching and fosters growth in the long term, and not feeling intimidated and that they don't want to go back to that environment?
Yeah, I think in the home it starts with just knowing your child and what they need and advocating for those things. There's a lot of pressure on families when it's either virtual or return to school. Some families are built for that and some families struggle.
Right.
Some kids are built for that and some kids will struggle. And I think it's really important for parents to listen to their children's concerns and try to address those concerns. So if they say, "Mom, I don't want to go back, I'm bullied there," it's really important to solve that bullying issue. And probably a little bit less important to go back to school. And I think thinking about mental health needs, you always want to take that mentality of, like, if a child had a new diagnosis of cancer, we wouldn't be saying, "Okay, you need to get your chemotherapy, but make sure your grades stay up." We would say, "You know what, kiddo? I don't give a crap about school whatsoever. Let's take care of this whole cancer thing." And I think if parents had that ability to feel like that was okay to do for mental health, they might seize upon it more often. And there are things that we do in schools that are not functionally or healthy for adults to do. For example, perfect attendance. I don't think a single adult in this world has had perfect attendance. We often take mental health days for ourselves. And being able to recognize when a colleague or a friend is struggling and what to do about that, how to report when you're feeling overwhelmed, and who to go to, and who, looking for the helpers in your life to try and find ways to resolve problems.
Right, absolutely. Dr. Tyler Black, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. We truly appreciated it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe.